welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I will be reviewing something that I have been looking for a very long time, for a couple of months actually. And this 5-pack, and yes, it's a 5-pack, has been really like I've I can't even say how hard this 5-pack was to find, and I didn't even find it. My dad did, like he always does. He always has to go hunt the stuff down for me. But yeah, the 5-pack is this. Finally in my hands, and finally I'll be able to review this cars, is the Formula One Hot Wheels 5-pack. I don't know why this is so hard to find. I don't even think that's embarrassing how hard it actually should be to find. Because I know that there is a lot of people that like Formula One, and I get that. But, and plus I have a little bit of a rant with these. Not for the cars per se, but just because of how hard they were to find, or this thing was to find. So yeah, F is based off the F1 2024 season. So these cars are already kind of outdated, well, the liveries I should say, and it includes 5 cars. They're all the same. It's just they have a different livery for the different teams that run. And yeah, F1. And those are the teams that are listed on the side, and we will talk about them in just a little bit. I mean, it's pretty cool that we get another F1 5-pack over 20 years after they actually used to have an F1 5-pack. Back when Hot Wheels used to have the F1 license back in 1999, I believe, or 2000. You know, they really have a huge motorsports history, partnering with NASCAR and IndyCar and F1, of course, and even just smaller series like NHRA and such. I think it's pretty cool that Hot Wheels is dipping back into the motorsport stuff. But I wish they could do like another IndyCar set or a NASCAR set. That would be pretty cool. But anyways, finally we'll get to opening this. The thing I don't like about these 5-packs is how hard they are to open. And hopefully I'll be able to open it cleanly on the side here. Now I know this set is not rare by any means. It's just this was a pain in the butt to find, man. I couldn't even find not even one. That's how hard it really was to find. Heck, I've even seen more Nightburner sets, and that's usually never happened because usually the Nightburner sets sell. But I mean, being honest, the new Nightburner set is kind of not good if you ask me. But still, the fact that there's more Nightburner sets than this is pretty insane, and I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, there's the box, just a standard box. It just has the F1 on it, but I think it's pretty cool. And these are the cars in here. Now I'm not gonna have it like this just so that it wouldn't fall, but I'm gonna have it to the side here because I'm gonna get my turntable, and this is the part where I do all my explaining and such. I'll put a little piece of tape because I know these things are definitely gonna fall off. My turntable here. Move the camera a little bit, move this little thing as well. So hopefully this thing still has batteries. I don't even remember the last time I changed them. But now that 5-pack isn't the only ones they've released. If you're not a Hot Wheels collector by any means, the previous ones they've made is this. They made the Red Bull, Oracle Red Bull car for this year, and also the Williams, and there is a Mercedes coming out fairly soon actually, which I think it's a first for Hot Wheels. Usually when they make a casting they only do recolors, like 2 recolors, and it's usually the same livery, they just change the color. But this year we get not only Red Bull but also Williams and then Mercedes. We get 3 recolors of the same casting, different liveries and colors, which is pretty crazy, and it's probably only gonna ever happen once. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in the future it'll probably happen again. But yeah, these things they sell in the mainline. The ones that cost $1, even though they're not $1 anymore, unfortunately. Inflation, but that's another topic. So they're all the same castings. It's just called Formula One, I believe, even though it says Formula One Collection. This is a new casting released by Hot Wheels, and I did make a review of this car before, or previously. So if you want to check it out, if you want, hopefully remember to put a little card in the corner. So yeah, it's a pretty simple one. It's not gonna have as much detail as like say the Barago cars or whatever, But, for a little kid, just to play with them, or even just a person like myself who wants to collect F1 cars, and, you're on a shoestring budget, I think this is a pretty nice option. It doesn't have all the details, but, it still looks pretty proper, I'll say. Even though some proportions, people really criticize the proportions of the car. I think it's fine by me. For what you pay, it's fine. It's acceptable. And I'm just gonna let you take a look at the Williams. I'll say the Red Bull one is my favorite. Before I look at the 5-packs, I definitely know that there's gonna be a favorite for mine in the 5-pack, but all of them are gonna be the same casting, like I said. So no aerodynamic changes, which that is, F1 is not a spec series, if you didn't know already. Even though this is making it look like if it's IndyCar with all the same chassis and such. So yeah, take a look at the Williams. Kind of interesting they made Red Bull. I mean, of course they had to. But then they made Williams just randomly. I like that they're making all the smaller teams. Well, not all the small teams, but most of them. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the 5-pack. And we're going to go in order from the top of the pack to the bottom. And I think another one that I think people would be very excited for is this one. McLaren, the McLaren Formula 1 team. Now, I don't know why. Okay, I watch F1, I'll say that. I know the teams. Drivers, yeah, I do know the drivers, of course. But for some reason, I don't even have a favorite team. But I think Destiny is telling me I should go for McLaren. I don't know what it is, but I have so much McLaren stuff. Like, I have a McLaren Speed Champions car, the one from last year, and also the little polybag car that they made. But then I also have the Barago 2024 British Grand Prix cars. Yeah, both of them, surprisingly. And I have the McLaren Indy car, only from 2023, unfortunately. Even though I really love 2024, the 2024 livery, which actually kind of looks like this. And then, I can't really think of anything else. And I guess this now. So I don't know why I have a lot of McLaren stuff. It's for some reason more easily accessible. And McLaren's doing pretty well this year. Oscar Piastri, I think, is still leading in the championship. But I think just today, the day I'm recording this video, Lando Norris actually won the Austrian Grand Prix. So that's a pretty good. I think it was 1-2. McLaren 1-2. So maybe Piastri or maybe even Norris can have a chance at the championship, even though they often collide. Well, I think the Canadian Grand Prix, that's where they collided there. Pretty embarrassing. So, but whatever. This car, like I said, same casting. You're just going to see the same molding and everything. Only the liveries are going to change, and the wheels. Also the same wheels, but, just different colors, like I said. So, yeah, we'll take a closer look at these, because there's definitely going to be a lot of cars here. So, I'm not going to read through all the sponsors. I just want you to take a look at it. I really do like the matte black finish on this, or the flat paint on this. And you got all the little sponsors. Arrow, I just associated with IndyCar, of course, Arrow McLaren. That's what the team is called. Chrome. I wish I had the chrome wheels on it, but whatever, that's fine. And yeah, it's nice finally another F1 car to the collection, among with 4 other more. And the next one in line is Alpine with their BWT, or Best Waters Technologies livery. Another one that has a flat black paint finish on it. So this one, like I said, 2024 livery. I have the one from 2023 with the 2023 livery, I believe. Yeah, because it looks slightly different. I got that in the Barago F1, the 1/43rd scale they sell at Target now. I believe it was Esteban Ocon that I got. But this one is, whatever. It's pretty nice. I mean, the colors on it, it goes pretty well. Blue with the pink and sometimes some purples on it. But I'll be honest, the delivery on this one is kind of lackluster. It's like mostly black. Not enough pink or blues, really. The only major blues is the wheels and I guess the front nose cone. But, other than that, it's okay, I guess. Definitely not going to be my favorite out of the entire 5-pack, but, it's another F1 car of collection, I can't really complain. So there's the BWT Best Water Technologies logo on the side pod. Alpine or Alpine, whatever you want to say. Castrol. Another thing I forgot to mention, they don't have numbers, so you can't really associate it with one driver or the other. Like this one doesn't have a 31 for Esteban Ocon or whatever the other driver of Pierre Gasly. So, they won't have any numbers, but at least you can imagine if it's one driver or the other, or if you want to get another 5-pack and have both of them, I guess go for it. But, I don't think, good luck finding this 5-pack. Or if you want to pay $25 secondhand, which I definitely don't recommend y'all doing, I'd rather wait. Even though I really wanted to pull the trigger because I really could not find one, I was getting desperate. I guess it's a good thing I waited, even though it does hurt. The driver detail, almost forgot to mention that again. No driver detail, it's just the molding. But, whatever. Yeah, I think it's a pretty nice one. I like the flat black paint on it, just like the McLaren here. Next up in line in the 5-pack is definitely going to be a pretty good one. And it's going to be this one. VCARB, Visa Cash App F1 team. Of course, it's a long name. I honestly sometimes forget some of the acronyms, but it's commonly referred to as VCARB with this blue livery. Really, really nice, I believe. This is I want to say the simplest car. In terms of sponsorship, this is definitely the most clean looking F1 car out of all of them. Maybe besides the Alpine. It's pretty simple. It's just all blue with the red wheels. It has the bowls on there because it is like a Red Bull developmental team, I believe. Even though it's not as good as the Oracle Red Bull team. They sometimes hire talents from here and move them up to the Red Bull team. But this one is really nice. It has Visa on the side. It's pretty simple. Big logos on it. I really like how the race cars usually have big logos on there, like, the next gen NASCARs do. There's the white bull on the side. I think it's the airbox. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same thing as an Indy car, the airbox on here. We got Honda, Hugo. We got the Cash App, the little Cash App logo, of course, with Visa. That's the two primary sponsors of the name of the team. There's Visa RB, Visa Cash App RB Formula One team. I actually do like this one. I think currently the drivers are Liam Lawson, even though, like I said, these liveries are pretty outdated. Right now, I think it's currently Liam Lawson, and I forgot which other one. I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to the smaller teams that much because they're not really running up the front. So, but I do know that Yuki Tsunoda did drive for this, I think at the start of this year, and then moved up to Red Bull. I think actually replaced Liam Lawson, who was originally at Red Bull. That's all I know. So I know stuff. I just don't know everything, all right? So don't go fighting with me down in the comments. So yeah, this is a nice one. Simple, red, white, and blue. It's not American, but, it's something. And, okay, second to last is definitely one that has a pretty nice looking livery as well. Kick Sauber Formula One team. I really like the neon green on this one. It reminds me a lot of the IndyCar Junko's Hollinger Racing cars, which I do own a diecast of. I believe it was Callum Isla when he was driving the 77 in 2023. Yeah, this is a really nice one. Kick. I believe it's like an application, right? Just like Twitch. I'm not too familiar with the streaming stuff. I don't really do live streams, really. I only do videos like this. But the green is really cool. I believe this was I think it was formerly an Alfa Romeo team, I believe. I know Valtteri Bottas drives it, and I think Gabriel, I forgot what his last name was. Bortoleto? Nope. Well, I don't know. He drives this car too. Even though it's not I thought it would be like a matte black, like the McLaren and the Alpine. It is a pretty nice shiny black with the green wheels, the green accents all over. Take a closer look at this one. Of course, all of them have Pirelli tires on it, or the sponsors at least. It doesn't actually have Pirelli tires on the side, if you can't already tell. A lot of more obscure sponsors on this one, or obscure logos. Zero, I believe that's a BP logo, or, well, I don't know. I think Kick Sauber currently has a deal with Sunoco Racing Fuels. Just like, they sponsor Sunoco sponsors the NASCAR stuff, and they're the official fuel of NASCAR. Although I may or may not change after this year, but whatever. And finally, the final car of the 5-pack is MoneyGram Haas. Now, this one is definitely I think probably next to Visa Cash App is going to be the next, like, most simple livery. But it definitely has a little bit more simple black, not flat black like the other two that I mentioned before. Just like the Kick Sauber car, it's all black. White wheels on this one. It's Haas. The Haas, it's not, I think it's still kind of related to the Haas factory team that currently runs in the Cup Series. Or if you want to go back, the Stuart Haas Racing stuff. But this one also has sponsorship from MoneyGram and Chipotle, which is really interesting to have a Chipotle logo on a Hot Wheels. It's just a little associate sponsor on the side pod, and we'll take a closer look at that too. One thing I haven't really mentioned is that the logos on here, like on the side pods, look a little higher than normal. I wish it was just a tad bit lower, just because it looks a little empty. But these are like $1, quote unquote $1 cars. So again, you can't really complain. You're paying like $6.25 for this, probably. I don't know, for the 5-pack. This one has an American flag, which is a little interesting. I know Kevin Magnussen, I believe, drives this currently. I don't remember the other team. I apologize. Like I said, Haas, Chipotle, MoneyGram, and we'll take a close look at the little Chipotle logo on the side. I've never eaten here in my entire life, but I don't think I'm missing out. So, and there's the Haas logo with MoneyGram, Palm Angels, and that's pretty much the final car out of this entire 5-pack. I guess we'll see if we try to put all of them together here. I guess kind of start like an F1 starting grid. So I'll zoom out a little bit. So I'll have them in the order of the release date and also the order of the 5-pack. So we got the Red Bull starting up at the front. Then we got the Williams, even though it's kind of unrealistic to have the Williams just like here. But whatever. Okay, so we got McLaren in the second row, and then we got the Alpine next to him. Hope all these can fit, actually. I actually don't know if they're all going to fit. Maybe I'll just move them a little bit up here. Move them a little bit closer. So we got V-Carb right behind them in row 3. And then the 6th car so far is the Kick Sauber next to V-Carb. And then final one is Haas, and he's by himself currently. But hopefully once I find that Mercedes, he won't be alone. So yeah, that is currently the F1, the Hot Wheels F1 grid that I have, including the 2 mainline releases and the 5-pack. Now I'm just missing that 3rd mainline release. Now, unfortunately, we're still missing Ferrari and Aston Martin currently. And if that actually does happen, we might, we're only going to have the 10 cars now. Which, in F1, there's 20 cars on the grid, and each team has 2 cars. So, 10 times 2, 20. There it is. So hopefully I'll be able to find that Mercedes soon, just so we can have a little bit more of an even. We're just missing one spot here. So now, out of my favorites, I'll have to say V-Carb. Even though this team isn't that great, this is definitely my favorite looking one that they've released so far in the mainline type style. I'll say the livery, the paint work on it is pretty good. Next to it, I would probably say maybe McLaren. That just looks like the Indy car. I'm just saying, the livery, I know they use the same liveries, I think, almost, even though they have completely different sponsors. I really like this one too. It's between these two, actually, now that I think of it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to have these now. I want to see if anyone's gonna do a stop motion race with these. It'd be pretty cool because I know the Barago ones look even better. But those things are 1/43rd scale. These are 1/64, and they're cheaper and easier to acquire. Easier with big quotation marks around it, because the 5-pack and even the main lines were kind of hard to find at first. Um, Even though it's been a while since they were like C case, I forgot what the other case was for the Williams. Those things are really hard to find at the same time. So yeah, these F1 cars really fly off the shelves pretty easily. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy to have all these. Finally, now I think the next step is to go try to find the Mercedes, and hopefully sooner or later Hot Wheels will make the last two teams, which is Aston Martin and Ferrari, because I know Ferrari, they just got the licensing, but I don't know what's the hold up with the Aston Martin. I feel like that's kind of an easy one there. And well, I was about to say that these cars are exclusive to the 5-pack, the 5 cars, but there are going to be 3 of them that are going to appear in like different F1 like Hot Wheels playsets, which is really cool. You know, I like to collect cars, but it's always nice to have like track sets and such. It's cool to play with your cars like this. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. That was the review of the Hot Wheels 2024 F1 5-pack, along with the 2 main lines that I already had previously. So if you liked it, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.